The University of Arts London has written women out of menopause guidance because obviously anybody can become a parent. Instead, they use the terms pregnant person and expectant parent throughout the guidance. And it says, the policy says that expectant parents may be of any gender, including trans, non-binary, agender, gender non-conforming, genderqueer and gender fluid individuals. I mean, you can be any of them, but I'm pretty sure you've got to squeeze a baby through a birth canal to actually be, a mother, or whatever the correct term is that won't get me blacklisted from the Guardian or whatever. So yeah, I mean, they do use the word woman once. But they actually make an excuse for it in a footnote and say, another piece of guidance that we're referring to used this term, so that's why we have to use it. They're so scared of using the word woman.
That's so weird.
It's so weird.
I'm so sick of these stories. We do a lot of them, and they're important, but I'm also sick of them. And a spokeswoman for you... Oh, they use woman there, but that's the other. A spokesperson, it should say, for UAL said, "We are proud of our sector-leading equal parental leave policy." And they go on and on. They say it reflects the inclusive nature of the policy. And later on, they say a more equitable workplace. It's just all the words we're used to. Inclusive, equity. They all just mean weird, woke...
They mean
communism.
The opposite of what...
Yeah. What do you think, Josh?
No, it's just frustrating because actually some of these policies are good. Equal parental leave, menopause policy, these are important issues that need to be worked on, and then it just gets sort of subsumed between the stupid deleting the word women. I mean, it's pathetic. And those two things particularly impacting women, and the idea that you're not going to use that word. I mean, look, we've covered, like you say, this story a lot of times, but it is important to cover it because this has an impact on the real world.
And also, it doesn't help anybody to remove the word woman. It makes it incredibly complicated. Imagine you've just come to Britain and English is your second language, or even your third language. You've got to, wade through and listen to, read gender non-conforming birthing unit and things like that instead of mother. It's ridiculous. And also, trans men who do get pregnant, they will understand that the pregnancy advice applies to them. You don't need to, create new words. Yeah. They will get it,
Trans men get pregnant?
Yeah.
OK. What about this idea, Leo, that... where do you think, or Josh, who do you think has caused this? Because obviously feminists call this stuff misogyny, but I read quite a compelling article the other day that confirmed my own theories, which I always like, that actually this came as an offshoot of feminism. When feminism said we can do everything just the same, we can be in the military and so on, you kind of created the idea that sex wasn't a big deal and that everything was amorphous. Yes. What do you think? Well, I don't know.
It's fourth wave feminism, but who actually specifically created it was Stonewall with their policies of... I'm assuming that University of Arts London is a part of Stonewall, signs up to its... you've got to pay money and then you get judged on how...
Yeah, it's like a mafia shakedown to get your stamp.
Yeah, and they literally send people in and go, all right, well, maybe you use the word woman there, so get rid of that and use this and whatever. And then they go, look at us, we're incredibly inclusive. We get a nice big tick next on it.
Yeah, the workplace equity index, equality index, something like that.
And they say they're inclusive, but really then just a lot of women feel that they're being excluded.
Right, exactly. Let's do the Telegraph then with a story about mermaids. Now, shouldn't that be mer people? Or maybe mer STEM workers? Why are they maids, Josh?
Former Mermaids trustee gives trans advice to private school head teachers. This is at the Headmasters and Headmistresses Conference. They should just be head persons conference, as you say.
Absolutely.
And someone came in, an activist, Bobby Pickard, gave a speech titled The Gift of Trans. And Mermaids is arguably a disgraced charity in that one of their other trustees, they'd written a paper about paedophiles or something dodgy, and then they'd had to get rid of them. Also, there were some safeguarding issues where they've been giving some pretty dodgy advice to kids, certainly young girls, to binding and also about going online to different discords where adults couldn't see what was going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. So the idea that this person, because they're in Mermaids, is suddenly a great human being is somewhat moot. But the other thing is that they're sort of saying, look, this is the conference, they're saying, look, we have lots of different people giving talks and stuff. Well, did anybody else come in and go, these are the dangers of what's actually going on and how this is arguably a social phenomenon? And there are a bunch of parents who've written in, parents who are of trans-identifying kids, who have written in, there's about 600 of them, and said, look, you've got to have the other people of you. You've got to get Helen Joyce in there. You've got to get all these other experts in. You can't just have this one trans woman going, oh, it's brilliant, everybody, it's all good, when actually there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah. A few things bother me here. One, this Bobby Pickard person who's chief executive of Trans in the City, which sounds like a kind of rubbish sitcom. This person had a thing called the science of transgender on some page on Twitter, and there was no science in it. It was obviously complete junk. And look, the idea here, HMC, the Headmasters Conference, goes for this idea of in the importance of listening to people who disagree with a diverse range of experiences and opinions, blah, blah, blah. And that's all fine, except the fact that it was a closed conference.
Yeah.
So normally that would be useful and that would be free speech. We have no way of knowing. If it's a safeguarding issue, you know, if people are promoting ideas that put kids at threat and it's closed, we have no way of knowing.
And it's the opposite of having a diverse range of opinions. It's ridiculous. And having this person go into schools and advise teachers is like having Fred West go in and advise on babysitting. You know, it's nonsense.
Yeah, I think it'll be hard to top that. So let's move on and do